Welcome to the monthly meeting for December for Better Ballot Iowa. My name's Paul. I'm coming at you from Ames. This meeting is less rehearsed than in the past. We'll see if it's a feature or a bug. It'll be less formal than before. We have a RCV demo with an election on what the best snow-related activity is. Results become available at 8:30. So, and my name's Paul from Ames. This meeting is less rehearsed than last time, but I think, Matt, if you're ready, let me know. We have a ranked choice voting demo where you can vote on the best snow-related activity. Snowshoeing did not make the list, and drinking a porter in front of the fire did not make the list. Unfortunate oversights. And drinking a porter in front of a fire, not really related to snow. Don't know if it would go to the Summer Olympics or Winter Olympics, but we'll see. And Matt, tell me when you're ready, and I'll turn it over to you.
I'm ready to go. Yeah, I think everybody on this call knows who we are, but I will pretend for the sake of going through this in character. So our goal, our mission is to educate Iowans about improvements to our election system, such as ranked choice voting. But our primary focus to date is outreach on ranked choice voting. We're founded by Iowans, led by Iowans, and for Iowans. We're a 501c3 nonprofit, and that's by construction. Right now, our biggest obstacle to adopting ranked choice voting is that nobody's ever heard of it. And so we are part of the exciting task of building the massive groundswell of popular support that we need in order to bring RCV to Iowa. We are right now a volunteer-powered and volunteer-led organization, and we are nonpartisan. That's a very important aspect of who we are. We have 6 board members. Myself, I'm the president. Genevieve Johnson is the vice president. Amy Brown is the treasurer. Dwight Schum is the secretary. Justin Whitty and Paul Lux are non-officer board members. And we have a very wide collection of team leads who help really run the organization and plan and organize all the activity on the ground. And of course, and perhaps most important, a large army of volunteers who are helping us get from where we are now to ranked choice voting in Iowa.
We had our first in-person meeting or last Sunday in Ames. I got to meet people in person for the first time. We focused on trying to make sure everything was geared towards our top priority of gaining supporters in this next year. And we discussed all the teams and tried to ensure that there were metrics geared towards getting supporters and getting everything, making sure all teams are aligned and working together well. As you can see, our growth in 2021 has been fantastic. We started with just a few people in March, and now we have over 700 people. We have volunteers very active, and we have some donors. We are essentially sustaining with monthly donations, I believe. We have a donor offering to match this month. And we hope to keep on growing. We talked about our 2021 accomplishments. We grew to over 700. We are incorporated with the state of Iowa, and we have IRS recognition of our 501c3 nonprofit status. So all donations are tax deductible. Make them now. We have tools, tech tools to help us organize, and we've been featured in news stories and editorials. Our goal, our number one metric, is to grow supporters by 15% every month over month. So we will have more than 3,000 total supporters by year end. All right, the top two organizational goals, our priorities, is we want to improve supporter to volunteer conversion. We want to make sure the onboarding process is smooth. And we want to upgrade Nation Builder from starter to pro. Sam and Jacob are leading that, and they'll let us know if they need any help. They've done fantastic jobs leading the data team and the tech teams. So now we're trying something new. We thought we could go around and hear from the leaders of all the teams, see if there's any help they need, and see if there's anything we can do to help them, or if they want any help or any discussion. I'm going to throw it over to Dwight for their executive team.
Yeah, hi. I'm Dwight. For those of you that don't know me, the big effort for the executive team has been to really organize that strategic planning retreat that we had in Ames, which really was a great success. Really excellent to focus the organization on some top key goals and key metric of the number of supporters. So that was a great accomplishment. I think one thing that the executive team can use from the other teams that kind of is related to what we talked about in that meeting is the reporting the metrics from each team and that we talked about, so that the executive team can kind of help support and be sure that the other teams have the members and leadership that they need.
Fantastic. Does anyone want to give a separate one on messaging, or should we move to outreach, onboarding, and data, or OOD?
I could speak very briefly on messaging. We're in the process of really organizing the team and getting volunteers. We've had a few people step up who are potentially willing to write emails, although we're going to have to streamline that process, as I learned this week, and do a better job of pinging said people. We didn't have a chance to talk a lot about messaging at the overall meeting, and so I think I'm going to kind of punt on saying much more than that right now. But I have a lot of thoughts and things to discuss outside the scope of this meeting.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you, Matt. Does someone from OOD want to speak?
Sure, I'm happy to provide a quick overview first and then open it up to the rest of the team leads. So since the strategy retreat, we have been focusing this week on clarifying what the metrics are that we're going to be tracking in support of the organizational goal of growing supporters by 15% month over month in 2022. So to that end, we have put together a spreadsheet where we're going to be tracking our metrics every week as part of our team meeting. So I think over the next week, we'll be looking at exactly how we source some of that data and getting our initial numbers put in there. Also a big exciting announcement is that Peng Yang has stepped up to be the lead of the volunteer onboarding team. So yay, welcome Peng. We're so glad to have you back in Iowa.
So Justin Hollenreich here, live outreach. So something that my team's going to be working on is putting together a schedule for next year so that we have a rough outline for most of the events that we're going to do relatively far in advance. So look forward to that. And something that OOD overall discussed that we could actually use from executive team is knowing how often do you want these metrics reported from us? So that's the one thing that we could know from executive is just how much, how often.
I could speak to that, and this is Amy. I would be happy to meet with each individual team, but some of the leading indicators we may want to report weekly. And those are like activity-based metrics. And then the outcomes metrics, we will probably look at more on a monthly basis. But I can make myself available to kind of sort through those with you if that would be useful.
Anything else from Ood?
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I'm just really glad to be here and back again and take on this leadership role. I'm really, really excited. Like Genevieve said, I'm new to this role, but I'm not new to volunteer organizing. So I'm pretty happy to be back, and I have a lot of ideas. I'm still kind of feeling my way around right now, but I hope to have kind of a good volunteer onboarding kit and lots of surveys to see how well volunteer onboarding will become. So.
Fantastic. Amy, you have your hand raised?
Yeah, I just didn't know if somebody wanted to kind of speak, maybe Peng, that's you, about our conversion from volunteer to actual first action, if that would be useful to share.
So we have kind of a goal of converting a kind of someone that says that a prospect volunteer. So someone that says, hey, I'm willing to volunteer, to actually have them do something within, I think we said 2 days, 3 days. That way we can get people remain engaged. So it's up to me to kind of find methods and of ways to get them into engagement. And obviously I'll be reaching out to a lot of outreach to figure out how they can get it, but it could be anything as small as just coming to a meeting, or, you know, maybe joining our base camp there group, things like that. And so that's our current goal right now. I don't have any baseline numbers and like metric goals, but hopefully if we are getting 15% growth every month, then hopefully those 15% also become converts. And so that would be, I guess, the top goal. It's like, can we make 100% of those people that signed up to become volunteers and have a first impact, our first action.
One thing we'll be talking about is what role these monthly meetings have with onboarding and new people. We'll be addressing that in the next few weeks, I believe. Anyone from Endorsements and the Speakers Bureau want to talk? Is that Carrie or Matt?
I can possibly speak to Endorsements, and Carrie, do you maybe want to speak on the speakers? That
sounds good.
Okay. We didn't have too much of a conversation about Endorsements at the meeting, but one of the things that we're really starting to think about is what would it look like to build up a list of endorsements. A couple of the points that were raised at the discussion on Sunday was that we want to be very careful about how we go public with endorsements. And so I think to a large extent, we're going to be keeping endorsements in our back pocket until we have sufficient number and a sufficient ideological diversity that we can bring that out without casting ourselves in a partisan light. I'd like us to set a goal for this year in terms of a number of endorsements, but we're not there yet. And I think one major goal in the coming months is to establish an advisory board of several, like a small number of prominent people who could meet maybe quarterly and advise and consult with us. And that's also a way to kind of hook them in as prominent supporters of ranked choice voting.
And then on the speaker side, we're in the process of trying to get more speaking engagements. I know Matt has one set up in Ames coming up in January, which is awesome. I actually have a small one that I'm doing in my home for a few volunteers, like friends that I've collected, just to practice and hone the message. But as far as needs, I think there's two primary things that I can see. One is we need help with anybody that has a warm lead on an organization, or even if it's just like a house party or one-on-one, to give us speaking engagements would be great. And then the other need is geographical. Most of the activity that we have inside the Speakers Bureau right now are folks that are either Quad Cities, Iowa City, Coralville, Cedar Rapids area, or Des Moines and Ames. We don't really have much north or west. So as we're looking to onboard volunteers and doing outreach in those sorts of locations, we want to start thinking about how we can, for my purposes, I want to bring in folks that are out in those rural counties up north to the west, even to the south, just so we can have people who can speak to the issue on the ground all around the state, not just along the I-80 corridor.
Very good.
Two quick other things that I would add. One is that we've been talking specifically about focusing on Cedar Rapids as an interesting use case, because they had an election that sort of could have been better with ranked choice. And two, it's a city that tends to elect Republican mayors, so it's kind of an interesting partisan mix. And one other thing I'd say about speakers is that we're trying to do some outreach to possible endorsers by inviting them to these speaking engagements. So the speaking engagements are kind of an opportunity to bring in prominent community leaders.
Good points. And social media, we have a new team lead or co-lead on that. Who wants to speak about social media?
I suppose I can. Hi, I'm Dan Whalen, and I'm going to be a co-lead, I suppose, with the social media team. And so I'm pretty excited about that. I don't know much about it yet. I'm still kind of feeling around what we're doing. I don't have full access necessarily. I think I'm in the Facebook page now, and I got Twitter access. So I'm pretty much ready to go. I'm just kind of feeling it out, seeing what's what. There was an ad posted this week. I haven't actually been into it at all, so I don't know the metrics on it right now. But yeah, I have, we also launched our group sort of. I mean, I would call it a soft launch for the group. I do want to put something on. I'll probably put it on in the base camp, I believe. Something about how we can use the group and the page to work off of one another in the in the social media strategy. But I would call that a soft launch at this point. We're still putting some content in there, and then I think we're gonna publicize it a little bit more. But there is a number of things going on with growth in the social media arena, and I think we're going to see some improvement in a range of things and a range of metrics. I'm happy that we're going to be tracking the metrics and tracking them in the capacity that we are, because I believe we're going to see some growth. And so I'm pretty excited about being part of the team.
Yeah. One of the things that we've been recommended is we're building the plane while we're flying. So I don't know if any of us really know exactly what would be best, but we're all volunteers and we're all working and we're growing, and we're still in the air. We're building the plane while we're flying. Technology, anyone want to speak about the tech team?
Yeah, I could start off, and then Daniel, if you want to chime in, because I think you were able to attend the meeting last weekend. But yeah, on the technology front, we're always working on Nation Builder, specifically the website. So anybody who's interested in helping with that and strengthening that to make it more viewable for anybody interested in joining. And then we're also looking to manage security and assisting with permissions of existing and inactive users in any way that we can help strengthen all the applications we use and whatnot, make it a better process for everybody. Daniel, you want to add anything in from over the weekend? I know it sounds like we talked about doing an upgrade for Nation Builder. We'll probably need assistance with that.
Yeah, there was definitely talk about, I think in the meeting that I attended last month, there was talk about upgrading Nation Builder. So that's still something being discussed. We're sort of I think in the finalizing stages of figuring out exactly what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. But yes, an upgrade to Nation Builder. And that's something I'm looking forward to actually meeting with you and kind of talking about your strategy and how it's been going so far, and how best I can input. I did take a course just a couple weeks ago on Nation Builder in preparation for this. I was like, well, I can learn this thing. So I have some experience. I've set up a Nation Builder here right in the last week or so. So I'm looking forward to improving the website. I think the website needs a little bit of work in terms of its user interface and just overall appearance. So I'm eager to get into it and start moving things around. There's also something I want to, we also talked about emails, and I know Matt mentioned that a moment ago too, but getting the email automations squared away and making sure that people are getting responses and invitations and reminders about these meetings or something. I was late today because I was fishing around for a link, and I emailed Amy, or Facebook Amy, so thank you very much, Amy, for the link. But it was difficult to figure out how to get here, and that is we could solve some of that with a few email automations. So those are some of the things that we did talk about, and some of the things I'm eager to get involved in.
Awesome.
Excellent. Sam, you have your hand raised, and then Matt.
Okay, so regarding the Nation Builder upgrade, I was talking about this in chat with Genevieve, but essentially it would help a lot of teams. Matt, one of the things that you've been talking about with email is one of the Nation Builder's functions is the workflow section. So if someone does something and then it moves through. So you will get access to that if we upgrade. But I didn't really want to say anything specifically about Nation Builder upgrade, only because we don't have a plan or a fundraising setup or anything like that. So it seemed, kind of something for people in the back of their minds. But I did want to let you know that the workflow function, we get access to more things via communication, emails, more inboxes, more email addresses to send out to things. And then of course, text messaging to supporters and various things like that. And it unlocks a lot, but it can be pricey to upgrade. So I think that's a discussion for our executive team.
All right. And thank you, Sam, for sharing that. Matt, do you have something to say now?
So this was an example. This particular meeting is an example of where automation would be super helpful, because up until now, I mentioned this on Sunday, I've been pretending to be a bot. Like if you get a thank you for registering reminder with a link 10 minutes before the meeting, that is because I am hustling to do it. And today was not one of those days. So one of the features I'm curious if we have already is, can we set like kind of chronological or like timed emails, like where there's, you set something up with a trigger and a list and it just resends that email periodically?
Probably.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't believe we have something that's timed. In the upgrade, there's a drip functionality, so you can actually drip emails over time. What there is though at this time is there's certainly a email series. Like there is an automated email when they register, and then you can set up an email to remind them that there is a meeting upcoming. So there's a couple of email sequences that are available to you. The timed one though is going to be under your drip functionality. I'm almost certain I saw that in the upgrade.
Sam, do you have?
I mean, all I know is that the workflow is how you automate emails. So, while there could be a way to fudge it with email that we have access to right now, I don't know. But the workflow is how you automate a ton of contact with people.
I just had a question for data and tech. As we have functionality requests related to the Nation Builder upgrade, what's the best way to get those over to you? Just post them in Basecamp? Just say, okay.
For me personally, I know that Jacob has his own way of doing things, and I'm not sure about what Daniel would prefer. But specifically when it comes to like someone wants access in Nation Builder, you can spread the word that you can ping me in Basecamp or message the OOD team or something, and I can help you out.
Yeah, let's start with that. And then I think it's something that we'll need to discuss a more defined process in the future. There's better ways of doing it that could also be automated.
Yeah, and I think that's something actually that we've talked about wanting to do organization-wide, is to create a process for teams to request things from other teams and have a consistent process across the organization.
And on that note, I just wanted to say I did create a message on Basecamp in the HQ about a ticketing system, so people can throw their ideas in there, and we may be able to make something work. So
Brandon, I think, is in charge of our fundraising, right?
He is. In his absence, I can kind of comment, and I should, because there are some urgent things. We do have this donor matching. I was, hoping that this was a meeting we could promote, that we could kind of like do that on, but I don't think that worked out. But I think that bootstrapping or figuring out a way, and if that means moving donations to Nation Builder or what have you, of getting people auto thank you emails, like being able to put into a message your donation was matched so that they know. And just overall, we're at only about, I don't know, we're still a little bit under 15% of our goal. I'm going to ask our main donor matcher if he can give us a little more time, because I think, setting that fundraising timetable was a little bit overambitious. But I think in January, if we really focus on outreach and promoting the next big call, we can try and get those numbers up. But we'll need some help on that from all hands.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. And then that brings us to the policy and research team, which I've been team lead of. At the meeting, we talked about what the policy and research team should do, and I asked that other teams who have things that they want researched just let me know, and I'll try to get on that. And someone in chat I saw talked about researching organizations that we can target to help build Better Ballot Iowa. We have some open team lead and deputy lead positions. I think someone in chat just mentioned one of the openings. So if you are wanting to get more involved, if you have anything, just let us know. You can email or message us if you're on Basecamp, and we'll try to loop you in. I'll move on and talk about upcoming events. We have the Better Ballot Iowa presentation at the Ames Public Library that's been scheduled for next month on January 19th. We also have call parties.
I guess I'll take it real quick. To call, these are for welcoming new supporters that signed up on our lists that haven't been contacted yet. So we have 6 to 7 Monday and Tuesday. We have a group of people go and do that. So go to the website and sign up on there, and then we'll know you want to do that, and we'll set that up. If those times do not work for you, contact us in Basecamp, and then we can get you the information that you need to do that on your own time between 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Monday or Tuesday.
Please contribute. We heard Matthew talk earlier about where we are with the matching offer. We're a 501c3. All donations are tax deductible. We can use it. We use it for our expenses. We have our team management systems, website, advertising. We need canvassing materials and event costs. So give now. Go to that website. We have that little code. You can just hold up your phone to the screen or just click on that link Yeah, for the price of a cup of coffee a day, you could help save democracy. Be a hero.
And specific to this call, I happen to know that most of the people on it are regular donors already, but you know, we're because of this campaign, it's a good time to like reach out to your list. And one of the things that hopefully we're going to have as functionality soon is now that we're a nonprofit on Facebook, we can actually set up to be able to do fundraising through Facebook. Like, you know, when your friends do that like $100 raised thing. So we might be calling on folks to kind of help generate some enthusiasm on that that front. But yeah. And thank you to everybody for all of your contributions.
Yes, thank you. And now we got to see what the best non-order by fireside activity is. But there were how many votes? Like 13 votes. Sledding was in the lead. Anything eliminated? All right, snowball fighting was eliminated.
Wow, everybody who snowball thought went to snow people next.
Yeah, there weren't that many. Only one snowball fighting. We have the law of small.
Oh, right. That's why.
Yes. So sledding won with half the votes, it looks like. Here we are. So sledding wins again. The only time I needed to get stitches was from sledding. So our next strategy meeting is next month, January 20th. The format could be completely different. The only way you can find out is to come join us, sign up now.